Sometimes a simple shift in position can make all the difference. That's exactly what happened when Coach Streeter made such a move in 1985 with our next inductee. The move to fullback in his wing team offense led to the single most successful season in the history of Gettysburg football. His season ended with 1,727 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns, and the Bullets appeared in the national semifinal. We heard all about that team success earlier this evening when Corey shared about our newest team of distinction. But now, the individual who was a key part of that success. Ladies and gentlemen, to introduce us more to Paul Martin and how he ran his way into the Hall of Athletic Honor, please welcome his teammate and fellow Hall of Honor member, Bob Lewis, to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight is truly a special night. It's not every day we get to celebrate someone who has left such a lasting mark on Gettysburg football. Not just on the record books, but on every teammate, every coach, and everyone lucky enough to know Paul Martin. First, Paul, I want to personally thank you for giving me the honor of introducing you tonight. That gesture alone speaks volumes about the kind of teammate, friend, and person you are. Thoughtful, humble, and it is so fitting and proper that you receive this honor before so many of your teammates from the 1985 recognized tonight as a team of distinction. But make no mistake, tonight is about you. You earned this recognition through your commitment, your performance on the field, and the way you carried yourself as both an athlete and a leader. You so deserve this moment, and I know your family shares in that pride just as much as you do. But what makes this honor even more meaningful is that it reflects the whole person you are. Paul, you've built a life rooted in integrity. You've been a devoted husband and a father, a successful businessman, and a loyal friend to so many. You've mentored young players and given so much back to the Gettysburg community. Those who know you best would say your greatest victories haven't come on the football field, but in the way you've lived your life with character, generosity, and a steady example for others to follow. Paul deserves this honor as he has so many accomplishments as a player. He was voted a unanimous All-American, and he still holds many Gettysburg football records that still stand today, 40 years later. Paul was a workhorse on the football field. It wasn't uncommon for Paul to run the ball 30 or 35 times a game. I remember looking up in the huddle, and Paul had already scored twice, was well over 100 yards rushing, caught 2 passes, and he looked like he was just getting started. Paul Martin made the impossible look easy. Paul, I want to share a little story that you may not even remember. It was freshman year, 1982, and as a freshman, we all spent our fair share of time down on the scout squad running against the first team defense. And it was after practice in the locker room. It was August. It was very hot. We were exhausted. And we just took our lumps against the first team defense. And we were sitting on the benches, and I looked over at you and I said, Paul, I said, so why did you choose Gettysburg? And Paul has this way of using your full name when he's trying to make you make a point and make you sure you know what he's talking about. And he looked at me and he said, Bobby Lewis, I came here to win football games. Wow, that was such a profound statement. While the rest of us were still trying to figure out where the locker room was, Paul was already setting the tone, not only for his success, but for everyone on the team. And it didn't stop there. Playing with Paul in the heat of battle, there was nothing like it. In the Lycoming playoff game in 1985, and what the Harrisburg Patriot newspaper called the 6 golden minutes, down 10-0 in our comeback versus Lycoming, I remember on a 4th and short in our own territory late in the game, with the game on the line, Paul stepped out to the side of the huddle, locked eyes with Coach Streeter, almost like he was saying, we've got this, I've got this. Coach called the play, We lined up, the ball was snapped, and sure enough, Paul got the call and found a seam in the middle to get the extra yards we needed. We continued the drive, controlled the clock, and didn't have to punt. That was Paul making the tough plays, the tough calls, lifting everyone around him and inspiring us to play above ourselves. Paul, we have a running joke about how good the offensive line was, but truth be told, and I'm going to use your full name to make a point, Paul Martin, you made us all better football players. So tonight, as we celebrate Paul Martin's induction into Hall of Athletic Honor, we honor not just your achievements on the field, we're honoring the standard you set for what it means to be a Gettysburg Bullet. Your commitment, your leadership, and the respect you earned from your teammates is what makes this moment so special. Paul, this honor is more than deserved and will stand forever as a reminder of the legacy you built here. And I can confidently tell you, there is no team of distinction without Paul Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, and my teammates, please join me in applause as I introduce the newest member to the Gettysburg Hall of Athletic Honor, number 38, Paul Martin.
Good evening, everyone. This is truly one of the greatest honors of my life. And I want to thank the committee, the Orange and Blue Club, and everyone involved in this Hall of Honor for giving me this moment. Today, I stand here with deep gratitude and even deeper memories. My whole life, I dreamed of what I was blessed to finally live out in the fall of 1985. From September to December, I was the starting running back on a team that made a playoff run. That may sound simple and mundane to most of you, but for me, it was everything. I'd always wanted to be the guy, the one who could be counted on, the one the team would turn to in the biggest games and at the biggest moments. And that year, I got to live that dream for 13 memorable games. But folks, I did not do it alone, as you can see here tonight. I have never, before or since, been part of a team that worked harder, a team that connected, believed in each other, or that dominated the way we did. Folks, the 1985 Bullets were special. I'm gonna go on a little more. We were bonded, we were focused, and we were just flat out tough. And I still believe if God had given us a dry field in Ithaca in December, who knows? Maybe that playoff run continues and we're all wearing championship rings today. I love stories, and if you know me, you've probably heard a few, maybe too many. So let me share just a couple today. Let's go back to our final preseason scrimmage against Moravian. The bank time and temperature sign said 106 degrees. I had a fabulous day. I fumbled 3 times. I think I finished with 5 yards on 8 carries. That's negative yards per carries, folks. I was embarrassed. I was totally distraught. The next morning, which was a Sunday, I didn't know what to do. So I did the only thing that made sense to me. I went to the weight room. Coach Streeter was already in his office. As I walked by, he called me. He called me in, and I'll never forget this moment. He asked, "Paulie, are you concerned about those 3 fumbles?" I said, "No, I lied." Then I braced myself for the bad news. I thought I was done. Then he looked at me and he said, "Neither am I." That was it. Those 3 words, in that moment, I knew my coach believed in me, and it changed everything. 330 carries later, 0 fumbles. Come on, hey, come on. All right. I had the privilege, no, I had the blessing of running behind the best offensive line in Gettysburg College football history. And undoubtedly the best line in Division III football that year. Week after week, they set me up. I just finished the job. Andy Cohen, God rest his soul, my roommate, our friend, our 6th man. Andy was the heart and soul of that offensive line. And it didn't surprise me. He stayed in football the rest of his life. That never surprised me. Jack Clark, I know you're out there. Stud. Dennis Curran, I know you're out there. Stud. And did I mention Bob Lewis? Bob is still the most talented lineman I have ever played with. This is my second and last story, but folks, this is a Bob Lewis story, so this is a good one. It's 3rd and 15 against Hampton-Sydney, alumni weekend. The crowd is going wild. Ronnie Bongo is trying to call play, some silly waggle, reverse, pass, something, I don't know what and Bobby yells over him, he said, "We're running 26 gut. I own this beepity bleepity guy." First down. Our offensive linemen were machines. And so much more than that, as you could tell from Bobby, they were my brothers. And speaking of brothers, there's one lineman I absolutely have to talk about, Mike McDyer. Mike stayed on me every single day. He pushed me when I needed it. He criticized me when I deserved it. He forced food in me when I did not want to eat one more bite. Look at the picture, folks. My head's like this big, okay? He is still my best friend, and I'm going to tell you, I would not be standing here without him. To my family, thank you for putting up with hundreds of Gettysburg College football stories and videos over the years. To my kids, Alexander and Gabrielle, thank you both for being so excited for me about this honor. I am so proud of the adult you become, and you were both better athletes than I ever was. And I'm also so proud of the spouses you have chosen, Dylan and Christine. And I look forward to lots of little Martin athletes. And I will have to tell you that I am not a grandfather yet, but Gabrielle and Dylan, we have a baby on the way, 13 weeks pregnant, so we're excited. To my beautiful wife, Jamie. Jamie has always challenged me to be the best version of myself. And she's shown me how to truly connect with people in a way I never thought was possible, especially for someone like me who has no problem spending long periods of time alone. To my brother Dave, you attended every game. You taped every snap of that 1985 season, and you have given me something I will treasure forever. I'm getting close here. To the coaches, Coach Streeter, Coach Campo, Coach Higgins, Coach Bro, and Weasel. Weasel, come on, Weasel. Yeah, all right. Hey, you all challenged me, you believed in me, and you gave me the chance to live my dream. So today, as I join this Hall of Honor, I don't just think about the touchdowns or the yards or even the wins. I think about this team. I think about the work. I think about the bonds that still hold strong today. And finally, I think about that kid that back in 1985 who finally got his shot and made the most of it. Thank you, and go Bullets!